Kingsspeeches for open letters to Bob Colucci and MacArthur Foundation Harry Potter Prices Not to Fail Now. Tell them to file Apple Store at Lincoln Center as white fast security guard just told me 30 minutes after I walk in. And this is how they reward a quest for knowledge versus quest for holding dog shit and a MacArthur Prize Knighthood quest issues. Third world country, third world universe, planet Earth is 30 Rock, you can tell them. Mr. MacArthur Prize, Bob Colucci. Look at that versus my iPhone 4. Bob Colucci song. With the rise of the MacArthur Fellowship Knighthood 10 years after the anniversary of 9/11, tell President Bush Jr. and Mr. Obama and Paul Krugman to sign on for the Harry Potter Prize's signature not to fail this fall. And for many reasons besides Google and Apple Store, China government issues. John Fenton on PBS, The Open Mind, the MacArthur Foundation, Bad Times as Well, Script, Part 1. First me, MacArthur Foundation, SPIC Center. Scam Project Initiative Center at CUWE versus Institute for Advanced Studies versus this guy at Vanderbilt University. MacArthur Foundation Law and Neuroscience Network. Versus the Genius SPIC Center or Scam Supercomputer Cellular Automata Machinery to do protein God and nature way. Not knowing what the equation is as God doesn't, how can these show and humanity know? Quest for the Genius Prizes, you can tell them in the nail in the coffin of Bob Colucci, chief of Intel Planet Earth and IBM CEOs, is that humanity does not know how to think, and most of its knowledge is pre-built in. How can Einstein win the Nobel Physics Prize and know an exact equation and constants of general relativity for the variables in the equation without any experimental evidence of gravitational lensing that came after his theory came out? It's what all mathematicians and theoreticians should know, such as a new appointment from Harvard at the Institute for Advanced Studies in Number Theory, that all number theory and mathematics and theoretical physics equations, most of them, as Mr. Ito, media director, lab director at MIT, has said. He and MIT and Chicago professors told him that just memorize the equations and go to Wall Street and get rich and forget about how and why they are. Because they themselves, professors, don't know, such as Einstein, the great genius. And for the Harry Potter Prize Transformation, wants to tell people that innateness versus combination of learning and in pre-built-in knowledge, just Noam Chomsky's linguistics grammar pre-built-in. The fact of the matter, it is pre-built-in because how can you possibly know the constants to precision, not just anthropic precision, but a precision without any sort of experimental evidence, such as the Nobel Physics Prize of Einstein, as well as many other physics equations that are a priori built in, such as the Wall Street trading probability equations in D. Shaw and Steve Cohen in Day Trading Issues on Wall Street. And these are the things that people need to know, that innateness versus learning is what a human ape is. And in the rise of the MacArthur Fellowships, nail in the coffin, Harry Potter Prize not to fail for you tell IBM CEO, small appliance display at Lincoln Center that was on display after midnight yesterday because of our email blitz supported, and CNBC broadcast both the award ceremony, one-day special conference by the MacArthur Foundation Committee, and Bob Colucci, chief of Planet Intel Earth, and the keynote speech of both Colucci and IBM CEO for respective MacArthur, using IBM using MacArthur as the bottom line of CNBC broadcasting both. And for the advantage of both, as chief marketing and advertising executive, as well as chief strategist of the MacArthur Prize Foundation, if you tell Bob Colucci, tell all the other fellows this past years and the committee board members who can advertise and market better than he or I can, using IBM, CNBC, Lincoln Center Performing Arts and Performing Science Center now this fall versus Fashion Week, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. And the MacArthur Fellow magazine to challenge MIT Tech Review, and of course to serve the same purpose, and of course to challenge BMW GuggenheimLabs.org, BMW sponsor, how to create a better New York City and society, a new concept, 22nd century large urban city, versus the MacArthur MacFoundLabs.org that would have experiments, games, and feedback, questions, and answer sessions which the past and future MacArthur Fellows show their significance of work, versus GuggenheimLabs.org of the Guggenheim Museum, New York City. Now, these are the things that people need to know what a Harry Potter Prize is. Now, the Fellows Fall means versus the Apple Store, security guards and NYPD cop ambushes, law enforcement playing games. Our past president John Fenton this. Now, this guy, I'm the founder of the MacArthur Foundation SPIC Center, or SCAM Initiative, Project Initiative Center. Supercomputing, cellular automaton machinery versus supercomputer equations that God could not write. How can human indeed show below God holding dog shit be able to do so? Tell Alan Guth and Alex Wong about that. To support it, for the third world countries at Apple Store, Starbucks fired by Bob Carucci, Chief Planet Earth, and IBM CEO in New York City for its 100th IBM anniversary, and Apple iOS 5 Special Book Edition Max Not to Fail with Steve Jobs and Tim Cook, and Phil Holmes Special Edition Speed on my 4G personal Wi-Fi hotspot, and security issues from all kinds of ambitious secure. Tell Bill and Melinda Gates to support this, not just MacArthur Foundations, and tell Bob Carucci, get Bill Gates and Melinda Gates' personal signature for my Harry Potter prizes to send to the committee and board members to fill this fall on September 30th, and his test of focus group on Bob Carucci's power over Bill and Melinda Gates versus Phil over Stern, Mitchell, Marshall Rudy, Columbia, and Princeton, Tuckman, and Lee Barnes of free speech on West Side Harlem. Using the lessons he learned from this guy in North Korea when he was at the State Department, versus these issues.